Oh, is that still on tape? Oh.
Tell it all, tell it all. Hey, how can you follow that? I was going to tell about when we were in the 10th grade, and I've known him since 10th grade, and assisted him into the truth. And there's no way I can touch trust in me. But anyway, I've known Dan since 10th grade, and I can remember we were young guys, about 15, 16 years old, and I witnessed to Dan because he was my best friend in high school. And I can remember some of the things that he got me into. As you can see, he was much smaller than he is now. And I had about 25 pounds extra. So I can remember, I always had this thing about taking up for my friends and for the little guy, which Dan was at the time. And I've been taking these boxing lessons over at Beatty Center. And so I remember, now this is crazy, but we went to Central High School, and we were walking across the bridge, and there was a guy, he was going to beat Dan up. And he probably started it, got himself in that situation. But I had a sense of fair play. He's much bigger than Dan. And I said, hey, you know, this isn't going to happen. I said, now if you do that, I'm going to throw you over in the river. This is on Broad Street, the Broad Street Bridge. And I had every intention of not taking this further than I had to. But I assured him, I will throw you in the river. If you beat up my little friend, then he probably got himself into this situation. Now, once we get out of this situation, I'm going to have a talk to him. But right now, don't you beat him up. So that's the way it was with Dan. Now, I've told this story a dozen different times, but this still amazes me. I was at a situation social. Actually, it was after Leslie's mom's death at their house. And I sit there and I looked around. Here's about 25, 30 people, offspring of Dan and Leslie. And I said to myself, man, this is amazing. My mind was this way. I don't know why. But I look at things, and some things are so amazing to me. And I can remember, once again, now I got Dan in trouble this time. I used to go up to the fairgrounds, and kids would hustle and make money with however they could. And so I would go up, maybe about 13, 14 years old, and we'd shine shoes. So the way I went to the fair, I didn't pay out of pocket, because that would get into my business expense. So I had this place on the 11th Avenue where we could climb the fence and jump. Well, here again, now Dan, he somehow just didn't know how to do it. I said, Dan, now look, there's no point in paying money when we can jump. So I got up, I said, now you go ahead, get up on the fence, I'll back you up. Now I know how to do it, I'll tell you what how to do it. So he gets up on the fence, and he freezes. I said, Dan, jump, man, jump. So finally he jumps. Then I get up on the fence. Now what he's done is used up all the time for me, and he was the highway patrol right on me. Now I'm a young kid, so I had to put it in hyperdrive and pull it away from the highway patrol. Well, that wasn't so bad. But now after trying to get away from the highway patrol, we run into these girls. Now here's Leslie with some of her girlfriends. Things have cooled down. We've got out of this one situation. And so we meet these girls. And I didn't have a pencil. I said, Dan, you get their number. And then we'll pass them around. Well, Dan, you know what he did? He never passed the number around. I'm thinking out here, I'm going to throw the guy off of the bridge from him, and he won't share the numbers. So, long story short, he ends up marrying Leslie, and I'm in this situation where I'm looking around, 25, 30 people, they're offspring. And I'm thinking to myself, if he hadn't jumped that fence, met Leslie, none of this would have ever happened. None of these people watched Star Trek, or have watched it, I used to be a fan, there's a thing called the Prime Directive. Anyone know what the Prime Directive is? Okay, that's a track. The Prime Directive says, when Star Trek, when the ship comes to a planet, you don't interfere with the course of this planet. Because if you touch it in any way, if you affect it in any way, it will affect the course of history. And so this planet will not develop independently without somebody touching it. It messes it up. If an outsider comes in a more advanced civilization. So in Dan's case, I said, man, I got him up on the fence, he jumped, and there are 25, 30 people in this room. And here, now we got about 100 people in here. See how the Prime Directive works?
It would be remiss for Leslie and I not to say how much we appreciate every one of you who've shown up to come this evening. It's been so long since I've seen some of your faces. It's an absolute delight to see some of you. I did want to make a couple of real quick comments because, Alonzo, I really could tell some stories. I'm going to leave it alone. I do want to tell the one real quick.
If it's the bow and arrow, I'm telling you.
Alonzo is into everything. Everything. He was a sculptor. He's a painter. And one day we decided to become archers. Bow and arrows. Remember that? We decided we're gonna be good at this. We're gonna hunt. And so one day we couldn't fire a bow in the city. So we went out walking along the railroad track one day and decided, man, we got to see what this thing will do. So we looked up and went, and that thing took off, and we stood there for a minute and realized that sucker's going to come down. So we both scattered to get out of the way of it. So Alonzo has gotten me into some stuff because he's got a mind that won't quit. He's into everything. I'm going to quit right there, Alonzo, because I could tell some stories about Alonzo. Anyway, the significance about having Alonzo here, and him and Sheridan, is because we did begin together. Alonzo introduced me to the truth in Central High School. He and Charles Williams. That was a real delight and pleasure. Then, of course, he's being the father, the spiritual father. I'm his spiritual son. We have a spiritual grandson, John Jenkins, another troublemaker. You have no clue about that guy right there in the corner. He's sitting down quiet because his wife's probably got a foot on his foot. But he's a character. So, at any rate, that's a grandson. Jimmy Parker, we have to go back to you because it's been 36? Oh yeah, I've been at 47. Yeah. 36 years ago, he came to Columbus, made a phone call to the Kingdom Hall. I was privileged to talk with him and got started with him somehow or another. And he put up with me as well. So John and Jimmy put up with a lot. But the beauty of it all is this incredible brotherhood that we have. It is absolutely a modern miracle to have all of these brothers and sisters together, and every one of us are connected in some way or another. And the beauty of it all, you know, the Prime Directive you mentioned, that was brilliant, actually, because we keep fiddling with it, and it keeps growing. And I can't wait to the new world when this group multiplies by 10, and we can all come together and just be delighted by the things that we have overcome. One final thought. A lot of people ask me, even before I retired, when they found out how long we'd been married, they look at me like, huh? Because anyone that has been married for that long is a modern day phenomenon. This society is just not geared that way anymore. But they ask, how could you possibly be married that long? And the beauty of it all is, if you have a wife that will pick you up and will forgive you over and over and over again, you will survive. I almost said, Jim knows what I'm talking about. You are beautiful, beautiful people.
That was profound.
It's your party. You can take as long as you want.
What she say, ditto?
Leslie?
She said ditto. Ditto.
Okay, on behalf of Leslie, thank you, everybody. So now what we're going to do is we're going to turn it over to our DJ so we can dance a little bit and have a good time.